Seeds are being planted as we speak for this end times chaos, this agenda ushering in the Antichrist and many other things. And a lot of people, if you don't have discernment, you're going to look at this and just say, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, it doesn't affect me. But as this progresses, as many more people are brought into the fold and worshiping, doing and participating in these activities, then you're going to see that it is going to be a problem down the line. And two things that are happening right now, almost simultaneously. This past week was the largest Satan Con, basically this conference for which all these people, I think, met in Boston, and they had gathered to worship Satan. They had fellowship. They hailed diversity. They were ripping Bible pages. I mean, it is utterly just disgusting if you are looking at this from a Christian perspective. Now, many people, they're not saying much, right? Nobody, if you were to tear up the Quran, if you were to tear up any other religion, people are going to look at it and say, you know what, that's terrible, that's terrible. But for Christianity, you look at this and people are like, oh, no big deal. Just let them do what they want. Nobody is appalled by it except the believers. Now, this much, most people, if you're Christian, if you're a believer, your discernment radar would go off and say, okay, obviously that's wrong. Now, let me give you the flip side to the story. Within the last couple of months, in Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, the Abrahamic Family Center had just opened. And what this is basically three major religions coming together, and they are basically in unification. And you can see this commercial that I'm showing here, where they are saying that it's okay to have three religions under one roof, a multi-faith center. They have a mosque, a synagogue, and a church. And representatives have come together holding hands and saying, this is amazing. What a time for us to unite and have unification. Now, I just read right before this Ezekiel chapter 8. And I'm not saying this is completely, addressing these movements and this agenda of unifying religion, one world religion. It's a stepping stone into what would be the abomination in the temple that ushers in the Antichrist in Jerusalem. And that's further down the line. But you can see here with what they're doing, how people are applauding this stuff. They're saying this is great. What a step towards the right direction. If you don't have discernment, you would look at this and you would say, all is fine. But if you're awake, you know that this is an abomination, right? Jesus comes, right? In 1 Thessalonians 5 says, for when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them. Matthew 10:34 downwards, he talks about how, do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set man against his father, daughter against mother, daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies will be those of his household. For he who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me, and he who does not take up his own cross and follow after me is not worthy of me, and he who finds his life will lose it, and he who loses his life for my sake will find it. So you have to realize that, and I won't read all of Ezekiel 8, but when he addresses all the different abominations that he's showing into the future and prophetically speaking, there are so many abominations. If you even want to say the people that were bowing down to the east, relating to possibly Islam, many other things, and other people talking about these other Trinity type replications of what this is. And again, to be clear, this is addressing Catholics, Islam, and Judaism, right? These three religions, leaders of these groups coming together and saying, hey, this is okay. We're going to rubber stamp it. So when you see this kind of stuff, don't sit there and think, oh, this is fine. Remember Ezekiel 8. Remember any other part of the Bible for which it talks about idolizing, for which it talks about coming together thinking, oh, peace and unity and safety and blah, blah, blah. You have to see it from the eyes of the Lord, because he's coming to bring judgment on the earth. And when people come together and detest the Lord in this kind of abomination, not only from a satanic perspective, obviously that much people can agree on. Other people, if you're like, oh, that's okay, no big deal, then you're also void of discernment. But if you see it, not only that, but also the opposite side to it. Remember, Satan is attacking both sides. And so there's only one way through Jesus Christ. There's only one God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. There's only one Bible. There's only one book. There's only one way that you can live this life. It's set apart, sanctified for Him, and you have to have a surrendered life to Him. You can't have this compromised, lukewarm life. You can't have all this hand-holding, kumbaya type of stuff, thinking that that's what peace is. And I'm not here to say that, oh, you should go out and, be violent and do different things. However the Lord leads you to act and react, to defend and take up your cross, to put on the full armor of God, to take up all of these things, the sword, right? And spiritually speaking, whatever that means to us, the last thing you want to do is think, oh, that's okay. Oh, these are, it's just what it is. No big deal, right? As it creeps in, as it's a stepping stone for other things into the future, and especially as it goes into the end times. I'm not saying this is what it's referring to, but this Abrahamic family center, right? This is obviously a red flag. For many people across the world, it's getting praise and applause and these things, but it can't, you have to look at it differently. Abrahamic family house is what it's called. An interfaith complex housing all of these religions. And it looks good. I mean, the way, you're not going to make something look disgusting. The way it looks is going to be awe-inspiring. But again, don't be fooled by those things. So be awake, be attentive to these things, stay prayed up, defend your house, defend where you are. It's a battle of territory right now. Now, one good news is that it's not gaining a lot of momentum in terms of numbers, but these are the seeds that are being planted for which they're going to try to advance this into the future. And so watch for it, be informed. A lot more is coming. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to make sure that you are right with the Lord and that you are progressing in your faith, your walk with Him. So love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.